See, personal magnetism, or as articulated in the wonderful book, The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane, where she describes it as power, presence, and warmth. Power, presence, and warmth, personal magnetism, charisma is the natural result of being. Now, as you can only be in this moment now, it is key to be as you are in this moment, as James Allen had articulated in his wonderful book, The Heavenly Life. He said, all things are now. All power, all possibility, all action is now. Not to act and accomplish now is not to act and accomplish at all. To live in thoughts of what you might have done, or in dreams of what you mean to do, this is folly. But to put away regret, to anchor anticipation, and to do and to work now, this is wisdom. He also says, whilst an individual is dwelling upon the past or future, they are missing the present. They are forgetting to live now. All things are possible now and only now. Without wisdom to guide them and mistaking the unreal for the real, the individual says, if I had done so-and-so last week, last month, or last year, it would have been better with me today. Or I know what is best to be done, and I will do it tomorrow. The individual, having all power now, but not knowing this, they say, I will be perfect next year, or in so many years, or in so many lives. The dwellers of the kingdom of God who live only in the now say, I am perfect now. Now, this doesn't mean you walk around saying, I am perfect now, I am perfect now. It is to know who you are. That still I am presence, the pure awareness, that is perfection. You exist as perfection. Existence is perfection. Being is perfection. Existence itself is the perfection you are looking for, and you are already that perfection, from which the natural fragrance of being, completely fulfilled as you are now, is what we can call personal magnetism, or attractiveness, or confidence, or charisma. He says, thou shalt not rise by grieving over the irremediable past, but by remedying the present. How do you remedy the present? Well, practically speaking, you live fully now. You celebrate life now. Now is the moment to celebrate life. Does the magnetic being walk around looking for approval, validation, or confirmation before they can celebrate life? Or is life just a spontaneous celebration to them? And from the divine center of being completely fulfilled, what naturally emanates from that is the appearances of personal magnetism or confidence or charisma as articulated by Olivia Fox Cabane. Power, presence, and warmth. And power is not force. Power just is. The magnetic being, knowing now as perfection, spontaneously, naturally in flow, results in celebrating life, spontaneously. So one way this plays out that I have seen is in conversations or in relationships. The individual, knowing that they are perfect now, sees perfection everywhere. So when they're having a conversation with a person or they're relating with them in whatever shape or form, they're relating perfectly. So let's say one of their friends comes up to them and says something like, whatever that implies that they are not perfect now. Rather than telling them, no, don't say that, or shaming and condemning them for saying whatever, spontaneously, naturally, what happens is the conversation changes. It just changes on its own. magnetically, attractively, etc. And all of a sudden now, the individuals are speaking from the premise of fulfilled desire. That is the way of non-resistance. Without trying, without pretending, without faking it, what is there to fake now? In the moment now, you are perfect as you are now. And everything is complete in the moment now, as he says here. The foolish individual and involved with the boggy side path of procrastination rather than the firm highway of present effort says, I will rise early tomorrow. I will get out of debt tomorrow. I will carry out my intentions tomorrow. But the wise individual, realizing the momentous import of the eternal now, rises early today, keeps out of debt today, carries out their intentions today, and so never departs from strength and peace and ripe accomplishment. Now, this can sound like a force-based thing to do. I forcefully will get out of debt today. I forcefully will rise out of bed. Everything happens spontaneously, naturally in flow as a result of being as you are. And being as you are is the natural result of, as you know, you are that pure awareness prior to thoughts that suggest otherwise, suggest you lack or are limited. You exist as perfection beyond these thoughts, beyond the body, beyond the mind, yet fully integrated in perfect harmony with mind and body. Thus, a harmonious relationship with body, emotions, thoughts, appearances, etc. You live fully present now. And the natural result of that is confidence, charisma, personal magnetism, etc. So rather than trying to be magnetic, rather than trying to be confident, rather than trying to be attractive, you could do nothing to be attractive. You could do nothing to be charismatic. You could do nothing to be magnetic. And by that it is meant specifically, you don't need to do this or that first and then become magnetic. Do this or that first and then become confident. Do this or that first and then become attractive. You are that perfection now, and perfection just appears more so. You experience that perfection where? Now, and you relate harmoniously with whatever task, project, initiative, conversation. So rather than being identified with a particular beliefs that suggests that another place is a better place than where you are now, and if identified with that particular belief, no shame and condemnation, the person may think, this task or initiative is boring. This task or initiative is unpleasant. What do you suggest if you say that? Inwardly, you suggest that I am not perfect now. You suggest that now is not the perfect moment. And no shame, no condemnation. You can put off that form of conversation. That belongs to what the Bible refers to as the old man. The old man, which is the sinning man, we could say, or the man that misses the mark. And to miss the mark is to forget that you are completely fulfilled now. You are that still I am, perfection, completely fulfilled now. So, practically speaking, all I teach is to show up and then engage with whatever it is that you're doing from a state of flow. There is no boredom in flow. There is no stress, no frustration in flow. There are no thoughts of, I will be perfect next year, or in so many years, or in so many lives, as James Allen had said, in flow. The dwellers in the kingdom of God who live only in the now say, I am perfect now, and you don't need to walk around saying, I am perfect now. Deeply engage in the moment now is to imply, I am perfect now. That is the way. And thus you don't say things like, I will rise early tomorrow, I will get out of debt tomorrow, I will carry out my intentions tomorrow, because now is the moment to be perfectly as you are. So, by remaining this way, which is just being as you are in this moment now, what we do see happen, and we're not trying to make that happen, it just happens that way, is the power, presence, and warmth. Warmth being deeply engaged in the moment now in interaction with people. Emotional intelligence, etc., is the manifestation of being completely fulfilled, as there is no separation. So thus, you relate harmoniously with whoever you are engaging with in whatever shape or form. Friendship, business relationship, romantic relationships, etc. And present, you are fully present now. As you know, this is the best moment now. See, if a person thinks that another moment is better than this moment, then what if they get to that moment, let's say, which is always now, just maybe in a different environment? It's still now in that environment. There could be a habit formed, which is just a belief identified with, that happiness or love or peace or bliss or fulfillment is somewhere else. So they get to that particular environment and they're thinking that same thought. They think, oh, well, this other environment, or when I get this next car, or I've made X amount of dollars, but when I get 10x or 30x more, then I can experience love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, or however they define it, which is illusory. Because now is the only moment where you experience your true nature, which is bliss. Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Or Ananda may be translated into peace, joy, happiness, bliss. And peace, joy, happiness, bliss is available now beyond appearances. Or as I say sometimes, regardless of appearances. Not because of this or that. Not because you're doing this or that. We can honestly say, while we're doing this or that, so thus you experience fulfillment or bliss or joy or happiness within, and you can relate it to, or we could say, like, for example, when you fall in love with someone, you say, I am in love with you. I am in love with you. So love is an experience that you both share together. But if the person thinks it's because of this or that, if the person, let's say, does not call them or goes on a business trip or something like that, they might think that they lack love, which is illusory. So that results in suffering. So you can still have the relationship and experience love with them in their physical presence, or if they're not physically present. Love is not dependent on appearances. Love is beyond appearances. Just as happiness is beyond appearances, peace is beyond appearances, bliss is beyond appearances. Yes, it is experienced with appearances, yet it is experienced as what we can call unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So that is what he's referring to. Now, as we continue to live this way, which, by the way, is the natural way of life. What we're talking about here is the natural way of life. It is this way. It could sound unbelievable. How could it be this way? It just sounds unbelievable based on conditioning. If the person has been identified with conditioning that suggests that whatever kind of condition needs to be there, then they can experience that love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. They're not technically living fully now, thus, because they're, you could say, postponing the experience of love, happiness, bliss, fulfillment, which is always now. It's just an illusory postponing, which then generates the illusion of separation from experiencing that love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment now, which is always now. So as the individual continues to live this way, we can say then what naturally emanates from the individual being completely fulfilled. Existence is that fulfillment. Presence is that fulfillment. Being is that fulfillment. Is all these things happening naturally and spontaneously. They naturally get out of bed in the morning because that is exactly what they desire to do. So there's no resistance. So they spontaneously wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning if that is the way for them. It's not to say you should wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and someone can say, why do you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Because that's what I do. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Or you could say, that's what I desire to do. There's no resistance to waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, because now is the eternal moment of fulfillment. So there's no suffering, thus, trying to get out of bed in the morning or forcing myself to get out in the morning, because I don't identify with those thoughts. So then what happens? Well, morning routine, I go to the gym, do my tasks, my initiatives, meet up with people, etc. All those things happen naturally, spontaneously in flow. And you and I know different. All that happened throughout the years, as I've been sharing, is the conditions placed upon consciousness were released. Those are the limiting beliefs stored in the subconscious mind, and those are dissolved along the way by no longer identifying with them. Exactly like how James Allen mentioned here, by valuing the present moment now. So anytime a thought appears in mind that seems to suggest that there's a better moment elsewhere, or you need to do this or that in order to be that love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, I don't identify with it. So as I don't identify with it, body naturally flows. Body naturally flows. Body is an instrument of divine. It naturally does what it came here to do. You could say it that way. And it is also happens to be what you genuinely desire to do. There's no conflict there. It's not like body will go and do something you don't want to do. Body actually does what you genuinely want to do now. So that's what I mean by this, I will rise early tomorrow, or I will get out of debt tomorrow, I will carry out my intentions tomorrow, what James Allen is referring to as the foolish individual, not knowing who they are. The wise individual, he says, realizing the momentous import of the eternal now. Great choice of words. Realizing the momentous import of the eternal now, rises early today, keeps out of debt today, carries out their intentions today, and so never departs from strength and peace and ripe accomplishment. So that strength is the eternal, everlasting, supreme strength that just is. So it's not a force-based strength that a person might think, now I have to forcefully will this into existence, getting out of debt, waking up early. It's not like that in flow. It is absolutely not like that. It just spontaneously happens as these conditions that suggest that I need to do this or that in order to be fulfilled, or I need to be elsewhere, or I need to have this car or this money or this relationship in order to be fulfilled. It's not to say you should force yourself not to desire or should not have the car, the money, the relationship, whatever it is. What he's saying is that all these things happen spontaneously, naturally in flow, in the present moment, as the conditions fall away, simply by valuing the present moment now, by being fully committed to this moment now. A person may even be triggered by that if you say, you are perfect now to them. You are perfect now. They might say, well, this is the reason why I'm not. And they might argue the point that they are not perfect now, etc. That's okay. I have no desire to go up to people and say, you are perfect now, you are perfect now. They are perfect now regardless of what they think. Because beyond what they think, they are that as well. We are that together. That still I am presence that exists as perfection in perfect harmony. So then interestingly, what happens then? I've seen this happen many times. Regardless of what they say, and I have no interest to argue with them, shame or condemn them, or tell them that they're wrong. You can say spontaneously that conditioning dissolves. It just dissolves. They no longer think that way. And if you ask them, they may say something like, oh, I was just procrastinating being perfect. So that's what also James Allen is saying. He's saying these illusory conditions in mind seem to procrastinate being perfect. That's what the individual considers as perfection, being out of debt, rising up early, carrying out their intentions, because they identify with conditions that suggest that needs to be met tomorrow. Then they could be fulfilled. They generate this illusion of procrastination. So they continuously go around in circles doing this. I will rise early tomorrow. I didn't rise early. Shame and condemn. I'll try again next week, and then I'll rise again early tomorrow, and that doesn't happen. And so all of that stops. All of that ceases, I can assure you, by dropping those conditions. And how do you drop those conditions? you practically do nothing to drop those conditions because you are that pure awareness that is not identified with those conditions. You are prior to those conditions. That still I am presence is the pure love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, completion you are seeking for your whole life. As you know that you are that pure awareness, you experience your real nature in consciousness, pure consciousness, we could say it that way, as doing what you love to do, exactly the way that you desire. If the desire is to wake up early, you'll spontaneously wake up early. If the desire is to go to the gym, you'll just spontaneously go to the gym, and you'll love going to the gym. If the desire is to build a business, you'll spontaneously build a business. You'll naturally build the business in flow. And I speak from experience on this. I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2009, 16 years. And people ask me, how is it that you make it seem so easy? You make it look so easy, so effortless. Because I don't try. I stopped trying. I stopped trying to be. Why do I need to try to be, force myself to be, do this or that to be? I am that already. You are that already. Knowing that I am that already, pure awareness, everything unfolds effortlessly and naturally. Your style is the best style. The individual way naturally arises. You just do what you do or don't do what you don't do. And it feels spontaneous, effortless, easeful. And then with respect to personal magnetism or charisma or confidence or attractiveness, because the person thinks, if I was attractive, and they put whatever kind of condition on it, look this way, dress this way, etc., or if I was confident and put whatever kind of condition on it, look this way, dress this way, if I was magnetic and whatever kind of appearances, they judge by appearances and say because of this or that, if I get those things first, if I become confident first, or if I become magnetic first, or if I become attractive first, or if I become whatever first, then everything will be easy. That is still not valuing the present now. That which we call magnetism, charisma, attractiveness, confidence, manifests naturally without trying. It's the fragrance of being. It just appears that way. So it appears that way as you value now what Olivia Fox Corbane talked about in her book, The Charisma Myth, as power, presence, and warmth. It just naturally manifests as power, presence, and warmth. So then what happens, and I've seen this with myself, I've seen this with working with clients, is their natural style of how they carry themselves, how they go about doing things, how they go about not doing things, etc. What they do, what they don't do, what they say, what they don't say, spontaneously happens, naturally happens in flow. It naturally happens. And we can look at that and say, wow, that was very charismatic, or very magnetic, or very confident, or very attractive. Yet, if we go beyond the appearances, we will know that they are just being as they are. And they continue to appear to be more. It just appears as more and more magnetic, charismatic, attractive, etc., etc., etc. These things naturally and spontaneously manifest. They just naturally happen from the sure foundation of being that perfection now, which is that existence consciousness bliss, the truth consciousness bliss. I am that pure awareness here in consciousness, witnessing my real nature of Ananda. Ananda is joy, happiness, peace, bliss. Ananda may be translated into any of these. And you experience that in the moment now. So just as Ananda mind, which is named after the Sanskrit word Ananda, which again means bliss, happiness, peace, joy, is released in meditation, where the individual in meditation, in the silence, being perfectly still now, body, emotions, mind, stillness now, they experience that bliss for no reason, happiness for no reason, peace for no reason, joy for no reason. It just spontaneously happens, and they can honestly say, although they might not say it, as they might not be saying any words to describe it, there's no need to describe it. But if they did say something, they may say something like, this is the best moment now. Some might even, and I've had moments like this, I trust you have as well. In those meditations, you say, oh, this is the best moment of my life. And I do nothing here. I sit here and I just remain as I am. I just abide as this existence now. That's pure bliss, pure happiness, pure joy. I thought it was because of all these things. Bliss for no reason, happiness for no reason, peace for no reason, joy for no reason, love for no reason. All these things that I was seeking for externally, if I got this or that, the relationship, the money, the car. And again, no shame and condemnation. You can still have those things. That's what I teach. You can still have those things. Just as you can experience that infinite love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment by doing nothing in a meditation, you can experience that infinite love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment with people, with environments, with the money, with the car, with the clothes, with whatever. Yet you don't form an identity around those appearances, because true identity is that existence, consciousness, bliss, existence itself, perfect as it is now, and that's it. And then what happens is the dream life plays out. You can say it that way. Your dream life plays out, and it plays out very theatrical, poetic, very romantic. It's this appearance of charisma, confidence, everything. The world appears to dance with you. We could say it that way. And so I know I say you can do nothing to experience that love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, just like in a meditation. You do nothing to experience it. And then when you arise from the meditation and you go for a walk, etc., you feel it. You feel that everything appears to be in harmony with you. Just as it can be that way in a meditation, like, for example, Vipassana meditation, which is what I do. I'll link in the description to a guided Vipassana meditation. I've been doing it since 2008. Just as you can experience your real nature in meditation, you can experience your real nature in consciousness in meditation. You can also experience your real nature in consciousness with whatever kind of task, project, initiative you're involved with now, whatever it may be. And so when I realized this, all those conditions and all that, what James Allen was talking about, like procrastination, just started falling away. You could say then, you really start to live your dream life. You really start to live your dream life without looking, as James Allen had said, looking neither to the left nor the right. And so when you go about these things, you're not doing it because of something. It's just the joy of simply existing. Now, that might not make any sense if you look at it from an entrepreneurial perspective. The individual might say, I thought I was doing the prospecting, the lead generation, the client acquisition, so I could acquire the clients and then build a business. Yes, we could say that it plays out that way. Yet, when the individual lives this way, the way we're talking about now, all those things happen in a way that we can call charismatic, confidence, charisma, personal magnetism, etc. Because the individual, let's say they do 5 prospecting sessions a day. Maybe they go out and they meet 5 new prospects a day, or they send out 5 emails a day, or phone calls, etc. When they send out the email, when they make the phone call, when they approach the prospect, they're not expecting the prospect to do anything to affirm the fact, to approve of, to validate, or confirm that they are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, or they are fulfilled. And at the same time, there's nothing that the prospect can do that can deny the fact that they are already fulfilled, because they know that existence is fulfillment, existence is love, existence is happiness, existence is peace, existence is bliss, or ananda, joy, happiness, peace, bliss. So the experience can be described as, I do it not because I want something, I do it because that is what I love to do. I do what I love to do. And that could sound force-based, right? Do what you love to do. You just spontaneously do what you love to do. You spontaneously do it. All that kind of conditioning that was generating resistance during the prospecting is not there anymore. And of course, the numbers go up, and then that wonderful theater, and you can tell a story. You could write a book about it later on if you'd like I did. And you can share your experiences and what you learned along the way. And it doesn't mean that the individuals have to do it your way. Your way is just one of the infinite ways that it emerged that way. And that's another thing that we found over the years. What we find is they not only do they do what they love to do spontaneously, naturally, without resistance, without effort, all these things that they once were trying to do, and let's say sometimes they would do it, sometimes they would not do it, they then became consistent. They also experience that infinite love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment of existence in the moment now in relation to whatever. Their tasks, their initiatives, their projects, their relationships. And the way it appears is what we can describe as magnetic or charismatic or confident. As a matter of fact, they get those comments from their personal relationships, business relationships. Oh, you're very attractive, or it's a magnetic way, or your style is very charismatic, or something like that. And so also, they're not doing it for that reason. It's not like they're doing all these things because they want people to say, oh, you're attractive, you're confident, you're charismatic, you're magnetic. It just spontaneously happens. If they say it, great. If they don't say it, great. Nothing changes the fact that they are completely fulfilled. That is the way. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I know that I am certainly that pure awareness existing as consciousness bliss. Thus my real nature is peace, happiness, joy, bliss for no reason. I spontaneously do what I love to do, that which spontaneously arises from the premise of being completely fulfilled. The sure foundation of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment spontaneously arises as all these things, which appear magnetically, confidently, charismatically, and attractively with increasing frequency on a continuous basis as far as the senses perceive. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.